A strong friendship. Tim was the strongest man in the town. When he played sports, he always won. He performed and exercised in the public park. He did this to show everyone how strong he was. Most people liked him, but one man didn't. His name was Jack. Jack hated Tim. Jack was a movie critic and the smartest man in town. He could solve complex math problems, but no one cared. Jack wanted to be famous like Tim. One day, there was an unusual event. A big storm came suddenly. The town was buried in snow. No one could get out. They needed food. The people said, "This is a task for a strong man." Tim was under pressure to save them. But Jack wanted to be a hero, so they both went. Tim said, "You can't help because of your lack of strength." But Jack knew the local area very well and could find paths that were usable despite the snow. They led in the direction of another town. That town had food. They walked until there was a block of ice in their way. Jack said, "We can't get past it, but if you strike it, it might break." Tim knew he probably had enough strength, so he struck it with a hammer. It broke. When there were more blocks of ice, Tim broke them. That made him tired. He couldn't walk anymore. Jack said, "Let's unite and support each other. I'll get the food alone. You rest here." Jack came back with food. Tim couldn't remember which path led home. He needed Jack to be his guide. The men became friends by working together. In town, people saw Jack with the food and cheered. They called Jack a hero, but Jack didn't care. He was thinking of something else. He said to Tim, "I thought I was smart, but I learned a new term today: friendship." Unit 25. Word list. Associate. To associate means to connect something with a person or thing.
Most people associate birthday parties with having fun.
Environment. The environment is the place where people work or live.
Keeping our environment clean is important to our health.
Factory. A factory is a building where things are made or put together.
We have only one factory in our town.
Feature. A feature is an important part of something.
The cell phone has many features.
Instance. An instance is an example of something.
I have never experienced an instance of hate. Have you?
Involve. To involve means to include as an active participant.
The whole family was involved in playing the game.
Medicine. Medicine is something you take to feel better or treat an illness.
The doctor gave me medicine for my cold.
Mix. A mix is different things put together.
The green mix we made in science class spilled onto the table.
Organize. To organize is to plan or get ready for an event.
Make a list to help you organize the things you need.
Period. A period is an amount of time when something happens.
In one period in Europe, there were many nights.
Populate. If people populate an area, they live there.
Billions of people populate the earth.
Produce. To produce something is to make or grow it.
This tree produces apples every year.
Range. A range is a number or a set of similar things.
I saw a range of cars to choose from.
Recognize. To recognize something is to know it because you have seen it before.
I recognized an old friend from many years ago.
Regular. If something is regular, it happens often and in equal amounts of time.
Our regular lunchtime is around noon.
Sign. A sign is an indication giving information, directions, a warning, etc.
The sign indicated that today would be a bad day.
Tip. A tip is a pointed end of something.
The tip of his pen was very sharp.
Tradition. A tradition is something people have been doing for a long time.
Marriage is a tradition all over the world.
Trash. Trash is waste material or unwanted or worthless things.
Please take out the trash. It smells bad.
Wide. If something is wide, it is large from side to side.
The door was as wide as my arms. Joe's Pond. Joe made the world a better place. He got the idea to do that at school. He watched a video there. It was about a factory. This factory produced a lot of trash and put it in a river. The trash and water were a bad mix. People populated the area by the river and drank its water. This made them sick. Many of them needed medicine and made regular visits to doctors. But the video wasn't all bad news. It showed ways to pick up trash and why it's important to do this. It said people can make a difference to their environment. The video's important features made Joe associate trash with hurting people. One day, Joe walked through a park. He recognized some of the problems from the video. One instance of these problems was the trash in the pond. It was full of plastic cups. There was too much trash. Joe didn't want it to hurt anyone. He told his grandfather about the park. His grandfather said, "You know, it's a tradition in our family to help people. That's why we give food to poor people. Maybe you can help people by cleaning the park." Cleaning the park would involve hard work. Joe decided to organize a group to help him. He chose a wide area of the park. It had the most trash. He asked his family and friends to come. On Saturday, he gave everyone a sharp stick. They wondered why. He said, "You use the stick's tip to pick up trash. This makes it easier." They worked for 6 weeks. Different people helped each time, but Joe was always there. In that period of time, Joe saw a range of results. There was no trash in the water. People could swim in it. Joe knew that was a good sign. He was happy because he helped his environment.
Unit 26. Word list. Advice. Advice is an opinion about what to do.
I don't know how to study for my exams. Can you give me some advice?
Along. Along means down the length of a road, river, etc.
Walk along this tunnel for 10 minutes, and you'll see a door on the left.
Attention. Attention is the notice, thought, or consideration of someone.
His work got the attention of two of his coworkers.
Attract. To attract means to make a person or thing come closer or be interested.
The magnet attracted the metal.
Climb. To climb means to use your hands and feet to go up something.
The girls climbed to the top of the mountain.
Drop. To drop is to fall or allow something to fall.
A small amount of water dropped from the bottle.
Final. If something is final, it is the last part.
In the final part of the film, the man and the woman got married.
Further. Further means at or from a greater distance or time.
The escalator is further than I thought.
Imply. To imply something is to suggest it without saying it.
The man implied that he wanted the job, but he didn't say so.
Maintain. To maintain means to make something stay the same.
The balls maintain constant movement.
Neither. You use neither to connect two negative possibilities.
Neither the path on the left nor the path on the right will lead us home.
Otherwise. Otherwise means in another way if you don't do this.
It's good to stay active, otherwise you'll gain weight.
Physical. If something is physical, it is related to your body and not your mind.
Biking is good for your physical health.
Prove. To prove something is to show that it is true.
My teacher proved the answer on the board.
React. To react is to respond by acting in a certain way.
James reacted badly to the news.
Ride. To ride something is to travel on it. You can ride an animal, a bike, etc.
I will ride a roller coaster for the first time today.
Situated. If something is situated somewhere, it is in that place.
The whiteboard is situated between the two men.
Society. Society is a group of people who interact and share a culture.
Society expects people to be good and honest.
Standard. A standard is what people consider normal or good.
This older model TV is below our store standards.
Suggest. To suggest something means to give an idea or plan about it.
He suggested that we go to see his boss.
Archie and his donkey. Old Archie needed some money. He decided to sell his donkey. So he and his son Tom went to town. It was situated many miles away. Soon they met a woman. "Where are you going?" she asked. "To town," said Archie. "Any smart person would ride the donkey," she said. "What are you implying?" Archie asked. "I'm very smart." Archie wanted to look smart, so he climbed onto the donkey. Then they continued in the direction of the town. Further along the road, they met a farmer. "Hello," said Archie. "We want to sell this donkey. Do you want to buy it?" "I don't need a donkey," said the farmer. "But if you want my advice, don't ride it. The donkey needs to be in good physical condition." "Good idea," said Archie. "Tom, I want you to ride it. You're lighter." "Neither you nor your son should ride it. It looks very tired. You should carry the donkey," suggested the farmer. "You're right," said Archie. "Come on, Tom. We'll carry it for the final few miles." The donkey was very heavy, and they couldn't maintain a good speed. They didn't arrive until late in the evening. At last, they walked into the town. But there, they attracted the attention of some teenage boys. They laughed at Tom and Archie. They started to throw stones at them. The donkey reacted by kicking. Tom and Archie dropped the donkey. It fell on the ground and then ran away. Archie lost his donkey. He went home with no money. What does this story teach us? We cannot please everyone in our society. Don't take everyone's advice, but set your own standards. Prove to everyone that you can make decisions by yourself. Otherwise, you may end up with nothing at all. Unit 27. Word list. Actually. Actually means in fact or really.
My dad looks a little mean, but actually he's very kind.
Bite. Bite is the act of using your teeth to cut and tear into something.
The boy took a big bite of his hamburger.
Coast. The coast is the land by an ocean.
I stayed on the southern coast of Australia.
Deal. A deal is an agreement that you have with another person.
I made a deal with the other company to give us some money.
Desert. The desert is an area of land without many plants or water.
Not many plants grow in the desert.
Effective. If something is effective, it works well.
Swimming is an effective way to stay healthy.
Examine. To examine something is to look at it carefully.
The doctor examined my eyes today.
False. If something is false, it is not correct.
If you think the answer is false, press the red button.
Figure out. When you figure something out, you come to understand it and find an answer.
I couldn't figure out what he wanted me to do.
Gift. A gift is something you give someone.
Dave received many gifts for Christmas.
Hunger. Hunger is the feeling that you get when you need to eat.
After playing all day long, he was filled with hunger.
Imagine. To imagine something is to think of it in your mind.
Sally imagined herself winning lots of money.
Journey. A journey is a long trip.
I went on a journey across the country with my parents.
Puzzle. A puzzle is something that is hard to understand.
The question was a puzzle to him.
Quite. Quite means that something is a certain way completely or very much.
I think typing on a keyboard is quite easy.
Rather. Rather is used when you want to do one thing but not the other.
I would rather have the red one than the blue one.
Specific. If something is specific, it is precise or exact.
Please choose a specific place on the map.
Spider. A spider is a small creature with 8 legs.
Some adults have a fear of little creatures such as spiders.
Tour. A tour is a short trip in which you see many sights.
I took a tour of Asia and Europe.
Trip. A trip is a journey to a certain place.
Ken took a trip to the city yesterday. The Spider and the Bird. There was once a very big spider. However, if a bug got into his web, he didn't eat it right away. He would carefully examine it. He asked the bug a question first. It was always quite a difficult puzzle. If the bug's answer was correct, he let it go. If not, he ate it. One day, a small bird on a journey flew into the spider's web. The spider couldn't imagine eating a bird. It was so big. But his hunger was too great. He said to the bird, "If you cannot give me a specific answer, I will eat you." The bird laughed. "I could eat you." But the bird was actually scared. She had used all her energy trying to get out of the web. And a spider's bite can be very effective in killing animals. "Please don't eat me," the bird said. "I would rather make a deal with you." "Okay," the spider said. "If your answer is right, I will let you go. If not, you must give me a gift. It must be something of great value." The bird said, "You can pick anything you want to eat. I will find it for you." The spider agreed. "Where can you take a trip to the coast, the desert, and the mountains at the same time?" the spider asked. The bird said, "Can you help me figure that one out?" But the spider did not say anything. "I can see those places when I fly. Is the sky the right answer?" "False," said the spider. "The answer is Hawaii. Now you must find some bugs for me." The spider climbed on the bird's back. They flew and ate bugs together. They took a tour of the forest. Then the bird took the spider home. From that day on, they were friends. And they never tried to eat each other again.
Unit 28. Word list. Band. A band is a group of people who play music.
My brother is in a rock band.
Barely. Barely means by the smallest amount, almost not.
I barely had enough money to pay for my bus ticket.
Boring. If something is boring, it is not fun.
I think the internet is boring.
Cancel. To cancel means to decide that an event or a request will not happen.
She canceled the rest of her plans because of the rain.
Driveway. A driveway is a short private road that leads to a person's home.
The long driveway led us to their new house.
Garbage. Garbage is waste material, like unwanted or spoiled food, bottles, paper, etc.
The boy cleaned up the garbage around his house.
Instrument. An instrument is something designed to do a certain task, like play music.
My favorite musical instrument is the piano.
List. A list is a record of information printed with an item on each line.
My mom makes a list of groceries to buy.
Magic. Magic is the power to do impossible things.
The magician used magic to pull a rabbit out of his hat.
Message. A message is a set of words that you send to someone.
I left a message for you in the envelope.
Notice. To notice something is to see it for the first time.
Did you notice the view?
Own. To own something means to have it. That thing belongs to you.
My grandfather owns that house.
Predict. To predict something is to say that it will happen.
She predicted that I would get married next year.
Professor. A professor is a person who teaches in college.
Mike's science professor knows a lot about physics.
Rush. To rush is to go somewhere or do something very quickly.
Nancy rushed to finish her homework.
Schedule. A schedule is a plan that tells you when to do things.
What is your class schedule for today?
Share. To share something is to give some of it to another person.
Jimmy shared his apple with me.
Stage. A stage is a place where actors or musicians act or sing.
A large screen was on the stage.
Storm. A storm is very bad weather. There is a lot of rain or snow.
Did that storm wake you up last night?
Within. You use within to say that something is inside another thing.
Within the box, there was a pizza.
The party. Cody's family moved to a new house. His dad got a new job as a professor. Cody liked his new town, but he missed his grandparents. For his birthday, Cody wanted to have a party. His dad said, "Yes, we could even have a band play." On the day of the party, Cody woke up and rushed to get ready. He started to check his list of things to do. He was so excited. But then he noticed something terrible. There was snow on the ground, and lots of it. "Dad," he said, "how can the band play their instruments outside?" Dad said, "We'll move the stage inside." It barely fit within the garage because there were some boxes and garbage there. But when they finished, they got a call from the band. They did not want to come in the storm. Dad said, "Let's get someone to perform magic." But no one would come because of the snow. Finally, Dad said, "Cody, there's too much snow. We need to cancel the party." "Yes, sir," Cody said sadly. "It's going to be a boring birthday," he predicted. Cody wanted to share his birthday with someone. He wanted to be at his old home. He wanted to see his grandparents. But then something got his attention. He noticed a car in the driveway. His grandparents owned a car like that. Cody was right. His grandparents came for his birthday. "Happy birthday, Cody. We're sorry we are late, but there was so much snow, it made us go off schedule. We tried to leave a message to tell you." Cody told them what happened. "I'm sorry," said Grandpa. "I was sad," Cody said, "but I'm not anymore. I'm so happy to see you." Dad brought out something special for Cody's birthday. It was his favorite, a sundae with whipped cream on top. Then Cody told his grandparents about the new town. It was his best birthday ever. Unit 29. Word list. Burden. A burden is a serious or difficult responsibility.
Children who do not behave are a burden to their parents.
Compromise. To compromise is to agree to something that is not exactly what you want.
We both compromised about the game we decided to play.
Craft. To craft something is to make it using skill.
She crafted the bookcase out of solid pine wood and then painted it.
Dive. When you dive into water, you go down head first into the water.
I like skydiving from an airplane.
Fragile. When people or things are fragile, they are not strong and can be damaged easily.
Fragile glassware was carefully packed into boxes.
Half. If you cut something into two parts that are the same size, you cut it half.
The machine can divide the book in half.
Innocence. Innocence is a lack of experience of difficult or complex things in life.
Everyone who met her found her innocence to be charming.
Lead. When you lead something, you go first and it follows you.
I will lead you to the right place.
Meeting. When you have a meeting, you are with other people.
We have lots of meetings at our school to plan what to do.
Merge. To merge two things is to combine them into one whole thing.
The storm clouds merged into one large menacing cloud that filled the sky.
Moderate. When something is moderate, it is not too big or too small in size or amount.
It takes a moderate amount of patience to be around small children all day.
Overwhelm. To overwhelm is to exist in such a large amount that someone cannot deal with it.
The amount of homework her teacher assigned has overwhelmed her.
Payment. When you make a payment, you give someone some money for what you get.
I made the last payment on my car yesterday. Now I am really the owner.
Perception. A perception of a situation is a way of thinking about it or understanding it.
Since he couldn't see, his perception of life was much different than mine.
Settle. When you settle something, you reach an agreement.
We settled the argument by looking up the answer on the web.
Shiver. A shiver is a shaking movement the body makes when someone is cold or scared.
I got shivers on my way home because it was so cold.
Sociable. When someone is sociable, they are friendly.
Many of my good friends are sociable, but I am shy.
Speed. When you speed, you go very fast.
Speeding is the cause of most car accidents.
Talkative. When someone is talkative, he or she talks a lot.
My aunt is very talkative whenever she is on the phone.
Usual. When something is usual, it is what we expect.
It was just the usual people who came. The Demon's Bridge. A young woman's cow had crossed the river in the morning when the water level was moderate. But when the woman returned with her dog to get the cow, she was overwhelmed by how high the water had risen. Even if she crossed, she still couldn't lead her cow back through the river. "What am I going to do?" she wondered. Suddenly, a man appeared across the river. "A fragile young lady like you shouldn't have to work so hard to get across a river," he said. "I'll build you a bridge." The man was not the usual kind of person she met. The young woman's perception of him was that he was a sociable person. He was talkative, yet something was strange about him. But her innocence allowed her to trust the man. "I don't want to be a burden to you, sir," the woman replied. "Don't worry," he told her as he began crafting a bridge. He merged the pieces of the bridge together with amazing speed. Soon it was finished. "Oh, but how can I give you money for your work? Let's compromise. I am sure that we can find a fair solution. What do you think?" the woman asked. "The only payment I need is the first living thing that crosses the bridge," the man replied. She thought, "This deal sounds strange. Maybe he's actually a river demon." She shivered because she realized that he had taken advantage of her and settled the deal somehow. But she had a plan of her own. She pulled a piece of bread from her pocket and threw it across the bridge. Her dog ran after it. "The dog is the first living thing across the bridge," she said to the man. The man was angry. He suddenly changed into a half-human and half-fish. "What's the matter with you?" he shouted. "You tricked me! I have no use for your dog!" He screamed and dived into the river. The woman sped across the bridge to the other side and had a happy meeting with her dog and cow.
Unit 30. Word list. Above. If something is above, it is at a higher level than something else.
He straightened the sign that was above the crowd.
Ahead. If something is ahead of something else, it is in front of it.
The blue car drove on ahead of us.
Amount. An amount is how much there is of something.
Can I use my card to pay for the entire amount?
Belief. A belief is a strong feeling that something is correct or true.
A preacher or priest should have a strong belief in God.
Center. The center of something is the middle of it.
The center of a dartboard is the most important spot.
Common. If something is common, it happens often, or there is much of it.
It is common for snow to fall in the winter.
Cost. To cost is to require payment.
These designer shoes cost more than the regular ones.
Demonstrate. To demonstrate something is to show how it is done.
She demonstrated her plan to her coworkers.
Different. Different describes someone or something that is not the same as others.
Each of my sisters has a different hairstyle.
Evidence. Evidence is a fact or thing that you use to prove something.
He used the pictures as evidence that UFOs are real.
Honesty. Honesty means the quality of being truthful or honest.
A courtroom should be a place of honesty.
Idiom. An idiom is a phrase with a meaning different from its words.
The idiom, when pigs fly, means that something will never happen.
Independent. If something is independent, it is not controlled by something else.
She chose to live an independent life in the country.
Inside. Inside means the inner part, space, or side of something.
The inside of the box was empty.
Jail. A jail is a place to keep bad people.
He was sent to jail for taking other people's cars.
Master. A master is a person who is very good at something.
My brother is a master of Taekwondo.
Memory. A memory is something you remember.
The memory of my first time in the city will always be the best.
Pocket. A pocket is a part of your clothing where you can keep things.
She always had her hands in her pockets.
Proper. If something is proper, it is right.
It is not proper to throw your garbage on the road.
Sale. If something is for sale, you can buy it.
Everything for sale here is the same price.
Cats and secrets. In English, there is a common idiom, let the cat out of the bag. It means to tell a secret. But where did this idiom start? It came from a part of England. Long ago, people there went from town to sell things like vegetables, clothes, and pigs. They had strong beliefs about honesty. They didn't like lying. One day, a man went to the town's center to sell things. "I have a baby pig for sale. It won't cost much," he said. He held the animal above his head. His style was different from honest people's style. He was a master of tricking people and lying. A woman named Beth looked at his pig. He offered her the pig for 1 gold coin. That was a very small amount. Beth gave him the coin. He put it in his pocket. He walked ahead of Beth to get the pig. He gave her a closed bag and said, "Here's your pig." He then left very quickly. Beth looked at the bag. It was moving. She opened it to let the pig out. A cat was inside. "He tricked me. That isn't proper," she said. Later, the man returned to trick more people. Beth saw him, and the memory of the cat came back. She told her friends. They stopped him, but no one knew what to do next. Someone said, "We need an independent and fair person to decide that." They went to the judge. Beth told him about the cat in the bag. The judge asked, "Is there evidence? Can you demonstrate how he did it?" "Look in his bag," said Beth. She opened it and let a cat out of the bag. They learned the man's secret, and he went to jail. That's how the idiom, "let the cat out of the bag," came to mean to tell a secret.